This equation, what form is that equation in? What form is that called? Yeah, vertex form. Because the H and the K tell us our vertex. Right, so my vertex is down here, but what is the point that it's at? 5, -4. Right, so when it says that, identify the vertex, it doesn't just mean drawing a dot at the vertex, right? You got to give the coordinates of that point. And then where is my axis of symmetry, right? It's just going to go right down the middle. But what is the equation of the axis of symmetry? Not 6, but yeah, 5. Because it goes through the vertex, right? So it's always that x coordinate of the vertex. And the line, right, the equation of the line is just x equals 5. Okay. The graph crosses the x-axis at 3, 0, right? So I have an x-intercept at 3, 0. Where is my other x-intercept? And why is it at 7? Yeah, good. Right, 5 has to be right in the middle. And to go back to 3, right, I'd have to subtract 2. So to figure out what this is, I just need to add 2, right, because they're symmetrical. That's equal distance. So that's got to be at 7, 0. 7, 0. Okay, any questions on that one? That's okay? Right, number 2. So the equation for this parabola can be written, right, this is again vertex form, but we want to figure out what is h and what is k. So what's my h going to be? So it's h equals 4, but then when it's in the equation, it does look like x minus 4. Does that make sense? So h equals 4, and then what is k? -3, good. -3. So that would be my equation. Okay. Number 3, we want to graph it. So I've got x minus 2, x plus 4. What form is this in? So that means I can figure out my 2 x-intercepts from that equation. Where are my 2 x-intercepts at? Good. +2 and -4. Okay. Can I tell what my vertex is from this form? You can? It's right in the middle. Good. So what's right in the middle between -4 and 2? Yeah, -1. So that's going to be like, right, my axis of symmetry. But how do I know where my vertex is? Yeah, it should be down 9. But, that's not it. How did you figure that out? But how do you know it's down here? But it could be, right, it depends on the vertical stretch, right? So, I mean, it could be there, it could be here, it could be here. Any one of them, right? I could draw a parabola, right? You know what I mean? To figure out the y, so we know that the x coordinate of the vertex is at -1 because that's right in between -4 and +2. To figure out the y coordinate, we have to plug -1 in for x. So take your equation, y equals x minus 2, x plus 4, and we need to plug in -1 for x. I think what you did, Max, I think that works too. So -1 minus 2, that's -3. Yeah, you were right. And then -1 plus 4, that's +3. -3 times +3 is -9. So that means that my vertex is at -1, -9. -1, -1, 2, 3, 4. Doesn't quite give it to you on the graph. But yeah, you're right, Max, that you can also think about, like, there is no value of A, so there's no vertical stretch. So that means I'm going to have, right, if my vertex is here, it's going to be like up 1 over 1, and then up 2 over 2, and then go up 3, we have to go up 9. 3 up 9. That's good. Oops. So that's our parabola. Does that make sense what we did to figure out the y? How you plugged in that x? So the x coordinate is kind of easy to figure out because it's just right in between the two x-intercepts. To figure out the y, we have to take this number, that x coordinate, and then just plug it into my original equation, plug it in for my x's. And that'll give you the y value. Sort of, kind of. All right, a single quadratic function has the following properties. Has an axis of symmetry at -2. -2, I've got a line, that's like the center. It's off, but okay, and that goes right through the center of my parabola. My vertex is at -2, 0. -2, 0, that's right here. And my y-intercept is at 0, 4. So this is my vertex. That's my y-intercept, so it's going to look something like this. But what do I know about this side? So there's going to, yes, so there's going to be that symmetrical point, right? And that'll give us that shape. Okay. What form is number 5 in? Yeah, standard or general form. Whatever name we gave it. We want to figure out the y-intercept. How do we figure out the y-intercept? Bless you. Any idea? Look at that last one that we did. In part C, we said the y-intercept is at 0, 4. What is always the x-coordinate of the y-intercept? What's always the x-coordinate? Huh? 0. Yeah. Right? If it's if it's a y-intercept, it has to be somewhere on the y-axis. That means that the x-coordinate is always 0. So if I'm trying to figure out my y-intercept, I'm going to set x equal to 0 in my equation. So y is equal to 0 squared minus 4 times 0 plus 3. Any of the terms that had x in it are going to just turn to 0, right? They just kind of cancel out. So then what's left over? Just that 3. So then my y-intercept would be at 0, 3. What about the vertex? How do we find the vertex? Look back at your notes. How do you find the vertex from general form? Yeah, that tells us the x-coordinate of the vertex, right? It says x equals negative b over 2a, and then what does it say? Right, because the vertex needs to have an x and a y value. Okay, so let's find x first, right? X is equal to negative b over 2a. So look back at our equation. What's the value of a in that equation? What's the number in front of the x squared? It's an invisible number. Yeah, 1. And what is b? Not 4. Negative 4. And then just plugging those in, so I've got negative 4 over 2 times 1. That's a positive 4, right? Negative makes a positive 4 over 2, which is 2. And then again, I'm going to plug that value in for x. So from my equation, y equals x squared minus 4x plus 3. I'm going to plug in my 2 for x. So I have y is going to equal 2 squared minus 4 times 2 plus 3. What's 2 squared? 4. And then minus 4 times 2? 4 times 2. And then 4 minus 8 plus 3. So that means that y is negative 1 when x is 2. And that's my vertex, 2, negative 1. Okay, let's keep going. 6. Okay, my graph is shown, and I have my graph in vertex form, or my equation in vertex form, and she's trying to write this equation in quadratic form, or not quadratic form, intercept form. Can she write it in intercept form? Why do you say yeah? Why do you say no? Yeah. So x minus 1 squared plus 3. So we've got x squared minus 2x plus 1. So then it's 2x squared minus 4x plus 2 plus 5. So you can take this and you can factor it, right? Like go backwards from foiling. That's what we're doing to get to factored form. However, look at this graph. Does this graph have any x-intercepts? Does it ever cross the x-axis? It doesn't. So that means that it doesn't have any x-intercepts, and there is no possible way of factoring this. So it's not that there's like too many numbers, it's that I cannot come up with any type of combination, right, to put this into factored form, right? Because 2x times x, that would give me 2x squared. I got to figure out, and I need 1 and 5 here to get to this 5, but, right, if I do this, I'm going to end up with x and 10x. That's 11x. And 1 and 5 is 5. So that's not going to get me there. And even if I flip-flopped it the other way, plus 5 plus 1, I'm going to end up with 5x and 2x. That's 7x. That doesn't get me to where I want. So there's no possible combination that'll work. So it's not possible. Okay, that's it. That's all we have time for. Right.